Yeah. Well, first off, my name is Jawaski Bethly. My nickname is Carnage. I'm a pro heavyweight fighter from Monroe, Louisiana. And right now, I'm currently 0-3, but I'm in negotiations to fight a guy you interviewed a while back named Terrence Hodges for April 30th. And I'm also trying to get a fight booked right here at home, since this will be the first time I fought at home in, I want to say, about close to 5 years.
That sounds pretty much great. How did you get into the world of MMA? What inspired you to enter the world of MMA, and what is your fundamental martial art?
Actually, how I jumped in, it was actually kind of by like freak accident, because actually an acquaintance of mine, they asked me, they needed like a last minute fill-in for a heavyweight fight, and it was like 4 or 3 days away. Now I just started training. I'm like, I mean, I'll do it. I ain't got nothing to lose. And so like, get your blood work did, jump in, and the rest was history right there. And I never forget when the first person I told I had a fight that weekend was my little sister. And she hurried up and bought me my first pair of shorts and my own pair of gloves for the first time.
Oh, that's a pretty much inspirational story. Very, very much. I like that story. What does your carnage, what does that mean? I mean, I know what that means in USA slang, but carnage generally, what is your nickname meaning?
Actually, me and my sister kind of made it up because both of us like the color red. And so it was basically came off like because I did a shirt myself a while back. It had the actual villain Carnage off the Spider-Man comics and mess. And I just like, and it kind of reminded me of me I let my mean streak out at times, but majority of the time I'm just a laid back and humble man. And so Carnage to me represents the other side of me. Really don't show out much.
Can you please say how one day in your life looks like, and can you please tell us a bit about your daily routine?
Like my day-to-day life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Actually, I'm a father to a 6-year-old daughter. I work. I work 2 jobs. One at a hospital, and I was working at a group home. But then I left that. I got let go from that from budget cuts, and then started doing deliveries. I'm a delivery driver. I deliver pieces of mess, and so both my jobs I can sneak and do like a little workout while at work. So if I'm not working, I'll train, or I have my daughter and my little girl. She'll want to work out with me on some days,
That's
or whenever I
excellent.
get them. So training my child and being around my mother, that gives me the peace of mind all I can have if I want to tune everything else out. Because
That's
my daughter came in to replace my sister, because my sister was coming to my practices, and she was one of the reasons I lost a lot of weight. But I lost her 2 days before I did my first official amateur fight. So 5 years I started my fight career. 5 years I lost her. So it's been rough. It took me a while to heal, but I scrambled up some amateur wins. I do it for her. I lost the shorts that she bought me because they were stolen a while back. But I still kept the gloves that she bought for me. And every time I put them on, I get a win. But most of the time, I just keep them up in a special place as a reminder.
Can you please describe your first amateur fight? How did it go? How were you feeling heading into your first amateur fight? And I also forgot to ask you, do you have maybe a favorite animal?
Sir?
Can you please describe your first amateur fight? How did it look like?
Ooh, the first amateur fight. Ooh, I was nervous as outdoors because I was at home and very few of my friends came and supported. So I was nervous. My sister was in the back. She came to the back and sat there with me. And she made it even worse. But we always picked on each other, called each other names, or made jokes to each other. So that made it more nervous. But I felt calm because I was the only fighter. I was new. Everybody else was done this before, so I didn't know what to do or how to do or what to do while sitting there waiting. I'm like, man, I'm nervous. And then my first coach was like, man, don't be nervous. You made your way up here through the craziest way, but we here now. You put in work. So that fight, I want to say it lasted like, it almost made it to the end of the first round, but like I got caught in a judo trip, which I never really worked on at that stage. Cause the other time I didn't come to like judo class, the grappling class, period. The other time I couldn't because how I worked, because I was in college at the time. I always came to whatever class I could until I was able to come more consistently. And then I started to grapple and do all that arm. That ended in the loss. But I feel like I won more in a way because I did it in front of a live crowd. Now, I did band in high school. Did like battle band and did like perform on football fields and all that. That's one thing, but that was a whole entirely different thing because it was just me out there. I ain't had no group, no big group walking out on the stage and performing with me. It was just me and myself. And so I felt nervous until the first punch in the face was thrown. After that day, I felt like, okay, I know what I signed up for. Let's just have some fun. Let's go and get this over with.
What can you say about your first amateur victory? You said it was pretty much hard for you considering that you had nowhere to train grappling, etc. But your first amateur victory was probably a pretty much bright moment, everything played through harsh life, but the reward came at the end, right?
Actually, my first amateur victory, it took a while because I dealt with so many setbacks. Between my sister's passing and then I sat out for a whole year after that, I barely really trained after that because I was in a depressed state. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't. Every time I go to the gym, it reminded me of her. I used to help with the kids class, and my sister always came there with me and helped with the kids or played with them or brought them snacks or did anything like that. They knew I was hurt. So I never really had no passion or no drive to want to come back and work, put everything in like I've done now. So I had to do a lot of damage control on my end. Plus me and my mother, we were devastated behind it because it was just the three of us. And I would have had a nephew during that. So not only I lost my sister, I lost a nephew I never got to meet. So I have a daughter. She would have had a son. I never got to meet my nephew, and that messed me up for a long time. Like I stopped going to fights. I stopped doing everything. And I picked up by like 60 pounds from just eating and depressed eating and started being mad all the time. And I was just doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff. I didn't know how to handle it at that point in time. Until my coach pulled me to the side, like, hey, we can still work out. It don't gotta be the gym. We can go somewhere else. We can just go somewhere that does remind you of what you and your sister did, but we'll just do it like day by day. And as time went by, my weight started dropping down again. I felt more comfortable. And so that led to the actual one because it happened during when COVID first hit. Because I was supposed to fight that April, but then it got pushed to May. And then the opportunity came right on my birthday week. The day before my birthday, I left Louisiana drive all the way to Panama, Florida for a fight. I drove by myself, paid the car, gas, and everything on my own. I drove down there by myself. I took the gloves that she paid for. I took that with me down there, and I took some shorts with me. When the judges read the scorecard, said I literally never broke down in tears inside that cage because nobody fully knew all the craziness, all the heartache, all the struggle, all that I dealt with. Nobody knew nothing about because I never told anybody. The only time I let it out is if I trained somewhere. So, and when I had that first win, my mother was happy, but she kind of wanted me to stop. She ain't want to see her only son get punched in the face and get beat up and all that. But I told her, this the perfect outlet for me to let everything out.
Well, it's kind of normal, you know. Parents don't like to see their children getting better. I mean, that's normal. But also, my parents are not fans because I train MMA. But it's like I understand how it means. My mom, for example, she's a doctor. So imagine a doctor looking her son getting better. It's not like it's hard, right?
Yeah, it is, which is why she told me I could sit down and watch off YouTube. I just can't watch it live. I just can't sit there because I might jump across that stage. I'm like, nah, I don't need you to do that. Because my sister was thinking about the same thing. Like, nah, y'all gonna embarrass me. And I can't do that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, pretty much hard. What can you say about your professional debut and your professional career? How did you transition to pros? How hard it was considering that you're working two jobs? How were you able, you know, to balance between your family obligations, between trainings, work? It must have been very much hard.
Balancing working and training, I had a system. Like, I get off at 6 in the morning. And so when I get off at 6, I go straight to the gym. I'll be in there a couple hours a day, get some sleep, then get ready for work, and then just constantly do the same repeat. But on Saturday and Sunday, that's when I can do a long gym session. But on certain weekends, I have my daughter, so I still have a gym session. I'll just be light because I know I have my daughter around. I know she's gonna want to run and want to play. And so that just allowed me to father-daughter time. And that way she want to do some stuff I do, I'll show her. But I told her, I don't want you to do the fighting thing like me. Let your daddy get beat up enough that way he can have some money put up for you.
How's your daughter reacting to your matches? I've never asked any fighter that. How is child reacting? Is she coming to matches? Are you taking her with you?
Oh no,
No.
no, I couldn't because I had to worry about being dad mode while is she trying to fight? Because I know she probably want to jump in and do just like my mama. But now I can't have that. She'll watch from the house. She'll watch on YouTube with me at the house once it's over and once they already released it. And every time, whichever promotion that does like a little fight poster, she'll be happy to show that to people with pride and yell out, "My dad's a fighter." She'd be so happy, and she'll be so happy to put on my little gloves and just want to act like she could punch me in the face and all that.
How would you describe your fighting style?
Uh, you're actually the first person I actually asked me that, because I really don't have like a traditional main base. I just go with the flow of the fight. Like I have a boxing base because I learned it from my father, but I didn't learn grappling, like jiu-jitsu and all that until I started MMA in 2013 when I went to my very first MMA gym. I was coming off graduating from college. So I didn't know nothing about grappling. I ain't knew the deep levels behind it until I went to my first MMA gym and I met a couple of guys who I still have contact with to this day. So unfortunately, I'm the last one still fighting.
Well, that's great. At least you're still training, you're still trying, you're still trying to get into the spirit of things. So is your bout officially slated or it's in works still?
Actually, I'm in the middle trying to negotiate two different events. The first one is going to be back here in Monroe, Louisiana on April 9th. I'm trying to get on it because this would be I could call this like a full circle type of deal, where it'll be the first time I fought here at home in 5 years, which is the same time my sister passed. So I wanted to kind of get that like a full circle, proper send-off and all that. Because I had my first amateur win. I dedicate that to my sister. I at least want to get my first pro win here at home. And the second one, that's supposed to be April 30th against, like I said, the guy you interviewed, Terrence Hodges. I'm waiting to hear on the commission in Georgia whether or not to give us the okay. Because I told the promotion I just got to get my blood work did and I'm all good to go. Right now, I'm just looking at videos from his fights, whether it's his MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai fights. I found almost all of them, so I just been studying and looking at that from there.
That's looking pretty much great. How are you preparing right now? How is your training session look like, considering you need to improvise a lot because of job, because of work?
Improvising training, like during when I get off work, I give like I just try to burn out at least the 3 hours a day I do train during the week. Cause I let my body rest on Sunday. But it's just hard for me because I don't have nobody my size to train with. It's hard. I barely have barely have training partners that are my size to fully work everything on. So I improvise by having a bunch of guys smaller than me to help me work on speed and everything else. Like I have friends that do karate. I do have friends that do karate tournaments, Muay Thai tournaments. I know a guy who was an MMA fighter, but now he does bare knuckle. And so I'm picking up things in all different aspects. But somebody who's like my size and like my build, that's rare. That's a rare finding. So that's the only struggle I have, which most of the time I have to travel away from home to get there. Like just last month, I left to go to I left to go to American Top TNT in Lima and work out there for a couple of days during the week I was gone. And I went to Bad Apple MMA in Columbus, Georgia, and worked out with some guys that I know personally up there. So finding guys my size, that's the only problem I have. And so I take time off. I take time away to go train in different cities and meet new people and learn new stuff that way. Because me just staying here, I feel like I'm crippling myself. I'm not growing. So I learned I had to move around in order to get better and do what I need to do.
Which is the hardest training camp you've ever participated at?
Hardest training camp.
Yes.
Hardest training camp, I want to say that is a hard question because I really can't. Okay. I guess the hardest training camp is going to lead to when COVID-19 first hit. Gyms closed. I couldn't even travel away to the different gyms and try to get some good training with everybody. So I was pretty much stuck on my own. But then I learned I'm okay with that. And so I improvised. Like I got up. Whenever I got off from working, I jogged 3 miles a day. I shadow boxed at least about 30 minutes. And then I just worked on technique, like things I mess up on. As far as grappling, that was the only pain in the butt problem I had because I really couldn't get full access to call someone, hey, I want to get some grappling training. Hey, I want to do this. So that was the only struggle I had to deal with. But otherwise, as far as work on my stand-up, striking, and all that, it was no problems. I could easily get all they did at the house and even like conditioning and all that. So that was just the simple part. The hard part was just trying to get bodies that way to help me. Because I went down there with nobody. I went into Florida territory, and the show was done outside of their gym, and I was the only guy from Louisiana to come and do this fight. I was like, yeah, I really feel like I'm in hostile territory right now, but I'm gonna just have fun with this, get this win, and go home. And lo and behold, it happened. They had me in suspense thinking I didn't got the W, but when they read my name for the winner, I felt all the emotional weight from the passing, seeing my mother in her most vulnerable and emotional state, reliving my emotional trauma. I let it all out inside. And even when they put the medal around my neck and I got back to my hotel, I still let it out. I didn't tell nobody. As soon as I made it back, I went to my sister's headstone. I took that medal off my neck. And I said, sis, I got you on. I promise I'll get more, but I'm gonna come to you every time I leave when I'm about to do a show. I'll come talk to you for a few minutes. And that's what I've been doing. Anytime I leave a training session, I go out there to the headstone, sit and talk, and I talk to her for about maybe 20, 30 minutes. Just to let her know, hey, I'm okay. I ain't slacked up. I ain't slacked up working out. She was the reason I lost all the weight I did in a short time, because one point, I had to walk around in a sauna suit in order to lose weight. And she decided to get her car and chase me down the neighborhood by my old apartment. She chased me down a few blocks in the summer heat in order to keep me on my toes, to keep me going. Because she knew I was gonna be lazy. And so she managed my food because she knew I was gonna try to cheat and eat, and so she made sure I couldn't get nothing without her knowing.
Awesome, pretty much awesome. Would you like to add something to this interview? Would you like maybe to mention something we forgot to mention? Can we expect something else in the future? What do you plan? What are your plans right now for fighting? You said you're trying to get into contact with two promotions. Do you have some additional plans for the future? Do you plan to work on some aspects of the game?
Actually, I'm thinking about doing my very first, working on doing my first grappling tournament around the summertime, and I just want to stay active this year. I just don't like the long breaks because I know one thing, that's going to make me lazy. I just don't like no long breaks because I will get stagnant, which is why I try to find something to do, whether it's try to find a grappling tournament to do, or I start going to a local boxing gym where the coach knew me since I was a kid, and so I go over there work out with him on some days. So I'm finding different things to keep me busy as far as being active and staying athletic. Because I know if you don't train, you don't keep yourself in shape, you're going to get killed out there in no time flat. And I'm just trying to get myself ready for April 30th. Because I know he'll bring everything that he got as far as standing up. I know he doesn't have much wrestling in him or any type of ground game in him. I hadn't seen that in any of his fights. So my count for this is pretty much going to be a ground type of count, which is fine with me. So if I get him to the ground, just land strikes on him and get a submission or two on him, I know that'll be the best thing I got to win.
Sounds pretty much amazing. Thank you so much for this interview, and it was a great pleasure to meet you, man. I mean, hope you get soon the fight announced, and hope some things get better. The majority of fighters kicked off with a very, very hard life, with very, very hard start of the careers, etc. But then they kicked off with victories. You never know. I mean, everything, the life can change, luck can change, so you know how it goes.
I pretty much do indeed. So that's why I don't even trip about if I get on a little slump on the losing skid, because it helped me learn. Because jumping from the amateur to the pro, I did that in 6 months. The last amateur fight I had was January last year. My first pro fight was August 18th last year. So that whole time, I just sat down and I just did a whole bunch of ground stuff. I did a whole bunch of ground because I never fully took the time to give it that. I gave it days, a couple of days a week, but I never gave a full count working on that, because at that point, that was my biggest weakness. That was my biggest weakness. And I feel like I've gotten better behind it. And so I feel like I want to showcase it against the man they call Jefe himself. So I'm just ready to show what I can do.
That's awesome. Hope that fight comes to fruition ASAP. Catch you some other time for sure. I mean, it was pretty much inspirational to hear your story. And I got to say, I got to share something with you. The whole my life been a striker, you know. I was pretty much lucky to discover there is only one good coach in my state, but like one very good coach. His specialty is wrestling, and I've been striking for my whole life. And when I arrived there, I was like, oh man. I was like, you know, I never wrestled in my whole life, and I was like, what the heck, man? What is this guy doing? A whole new level life was, but you know, we learn until we always learn. We're always trying to improve ourselves, and that's great. Sometimes some doors are going to open.
Yeah, certainly did, and it opened mine because the first coach I had, he been there for me when he brought me in when I first started, and in the past with my sister, he still kept in touch and made sure I was straight and gave me the option that I want to sit out during that. And I told him, if I did that, I know I was going to quit. I told him, whatever happens, it's on me. This isn't on you. If anybody got something to say, let them say to me. I took this. I want to keep doing this. And during that break, I told him, hey, I want to come back. I want to get back at it. But I want to do it right. So when that gym shut down, I basically got on my own, like paying to travel to different fights and different shows, going to different seminars and getting workouts at different places. I had to finance that all on my own while working. So I ain't complaining about it. I just looked at it as an investment, like it's going to help me get better down the road. So I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to laugh at it. I'm going to laugh at it because when a streak starts hitting, I know I'm going to get a call. So I'm just patiently waiting for everything to fall in place. Until then, I'm enjoying every moment I can get from it.
All right. Have a great day. I need to go to work also. So thank you so much for the interview. I will put it now to creation. Hope in like 2-3 hours. I will message you for some additional detail right now and catch you later so I can do the promotion a bit.
Okay, I got you. I thank you, my friend.
All right. No problem, Jawaski. Have a great day, man.
You too.